Welcome back to the Foamy Heads. Mitch and Rich are on the mic today, and we have zero agenda, Mitch, except just to drink a beer for happy hour and talk about our Living Waters podcast.
Yes.
That was, I don't have anything else. My mind is a little blank right now. I'm tired. I'm thirsty. I just ran 3 miles for whatever reason, and I'm thirsty as hell, so I'm...
I had a leg day today myself.
Ooh. You deserve a beer, Mitch.
Yeah, they need some juice.
Yeah, we do. What are we drinking? What you got over there?
Well, I have, as I break it open with you, I have a Oktoberfest beer.
Ooh.
It's all backwards in the camera, of course, but this is House Oktoberfest Marzen style lager. It's from Edmonds Oast Brewing Company.
Ooh, they make killer IPAs.
The can looks awesome. It's a pretty old school looking of a can. The light's super harsh on the image here for you. So, but here's a little bit more. They got a goat, old font here, English font it seems, and then it says it's brewed with the traditional German malt hops and yeast of the highest regard for a refined flavor, deserving of the most discerning palate, bona fide and time tested.
Hey,
so
and it's coming up on October season. I mean, it's finally starting to get cool.
That's true. Charleston, South Carolina. Did not know that's where they were from. So.
Neither did I. I did not know that either. But I've had a few Edmonds Oats beers in my. Let's see, Edmonds Oats. I'm trying to think what I've had from those guys before.
It pours very, very nicely. Oh yeah, you can't see that, but.
See it
there
now.
You go.
Ooh, nice foamy head on it.
Yeah, it's nice and amber. Very, very. Oh wow! The head's receiving pretty quick, or receding, I should say, not receiving. That's for a different time of night. But yeah, dude, it pours very pretty. On the nose, I've got. It's a lot of malt. I'm really looking forward to it. It's got I haven't had a malty beverage like an Oktoberfest in a while. So
I was going to ask, what made the decision to drink an Oktoberfest tonight?
Kind of 'tis the season, and also I haven't had one, and I kind of want to try my Oktoberfest beers around me so that I can find something similar. Well, this won't be in comparison because it's not a Imperial Oktoberfest beer, but Dragonhosen, man, I miss it. I still want that, what do you call it, pedestal view of Dragonhosen smashed because, right now it's just my favorite Oktoberfest. So, yeah.
I think I'm trying to figure out because we had that a long time ago. Gosh, it was one of the heavier Oktoberfest I think we had. It was sitting around like 8%, 9%, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of our epitome, our pedestal beer of Oktoberfest at the time. We haven't been able to find it since. So I know you're always looking for it or something close to it anyway.
Definitely. You never know what kind of gem you have, at the time.
That's awesome.
What do you got?
I just cracked open mine. I've got a Southern Grist tonight. This one actually came as a gift from DJ. He stopped over the other day. We traded a couple of beers, and he brought over this one. This one actually caught my eye. This is Intentional Glitch from Southern Grist, and a brewery that we are both very familiar with because it's in our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
We kind of talked a little bit about this the other day, Mitch, but this is an oated IPA. So this is kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little bit, at least it gives off that creamier head feel and look to it. But this one's, it's interesting and DJ said the same thing before I even read the description, but it's got mandarina hops, motica hops, and then it's brewed with tangerine and lime peel. I've never had anything with lime peel. Excuse me. I haven't had an IPA with lime peel before.
Yeah.
Those are normally good for your like lime lagers and kind of your lighter beers. I've never actually had an IPA that's brewed with lime peel before. And DJ mentioned that there was an interesting taste on the finish that kind of stayed with you. So I'm kind of excited to get into it. But if you can look at that foamy head.
Yeah, dude. It's sticking.
Yeah, it's staying. I think that's the oats that are in the IPA. It's pretty hazy. Let me take a smell. I can smell the lime on that beer. Just right off the head, I can smell the lime. I'm awesome. Not sure what it's. I have no idea what this thing is going to taste like. 8%. Don't know the IBU count on it, but I imagine the tangerine and the lime is going to kind of come off a little bit on the not hoppy end, but bitter end. I know that those are different. I'm going to take a sip.
I'm going to dive in as well. Ooh, that is Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's kind of that light beer taste up front, but then it just comes in with the heavy malt.
Yeah.
And helps you out in that regard. Yeah, I feel like I just ate a piece of bread.
There you go. Well, I mean, it's coming up, right?
It is.
We're middle of September. It's kind of odd that it's still so hot this time of the year, but 2020 is kind of thrown us all a curveball, and the seasons have been different and life has been different. Excuse me, but it's interesting that it's just now finally start. Like I think we're supposed to get our high over the weekend, supposed to be in like the upper 70s, but it's just now starting to cool off, which means making the decision for Marsden's and Oktoberfests. Tis the season.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm enjoying this little Oktoberfest. It's got a lot more flavor on the back end than I expected. So it's a good choice for an Oktoberfest.
This one, Intentional Glitch, is very different. I don't know what to expect. So first of all, this doesn't have the taste of a Southern Grist IPA. So we both know, we're very familiar with that flavor profile. It's normally kind of think bearded iris without that bearded iris finish back end. That's typically what Southern Grist say. They're always like super like juicy and bitter, hoppy, but there's no kind of more grapefruity. Like that's typical Southern Grist IPA.
Yeah.
This has none of that.
Whoa.
I mean, like none of it. If you would have put this in front of me, I would have not known that this is a Southern Grist beer. And then on top of that, it's lime and mandarin and tangerine. The lime is what sticks with me at the end. It's almost like I'm finishing off I guess maybe a margarita. Maybe
because of the rind and the rub or whatever around the rim of the glass kind of thing. Salt.
Yep, that would kind of be it. It kind of gives that little lift at the end that doesn't leave an IPA taste in your mouth. It leaves the lime peel taste in your mouth, and the IPA just kind of goes by the wayside very quickly. So I'm not sure what to think of this beer. It's interesting, but I haven't ever had anything like this before. I'm gonna try again.
Very curious. The you were talking about the oats in it. I don't recall having a oated IPA, and one of these days I'll get my hands on one. It seems awesome because I'm not a big lactose fan. It leaves just initially it's nice, but the after kind of like not resin. I don't think that's the right word, but there's just some sort of after effect from lactose that I don't necessarily enjoy in all aspects of beer. So
sure,
yeah. That might change in time, but right now it still throws me off from time to time.
I get it. I agree. Having a lactose, kind of a milkshake IPA has typically not been my style of IPAs historically. Of course, Ryan changed all that when we had kind of our Living Waters interview where we had a chance to, try a milkshake IPA.
Dude, it was amazing, world changing. That Burgess, the
Yeah.
first Burgess. What was that with the tangerine and apricot?
I need to
Or
go back. Yeah, I need to go look that up. Burgess Living
because
Waters.
man, that was a game changer on our, I guess, both of our palates.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I still haven't had a, excuse me, frozen milkshake IPA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't had it in slush form, so I'm curious how much I'd like that.
Yeah, and then they had the peach and passion fruit one,
Yeah,
which I think
that was the
that was
green
the
can.
follow up. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the no, I believe the peach and passion fruit was the pink can.
right.
The first one was the green can, I believe.
Oh, it was. I'm getting
I
them
don't
backwards.
I
Yeah,
don't remember. I don't remember. I have to go back. Either way, they were both pretty good, really good actually.
yeah,
But that was kind of the I don't want to call it a turning point because I don't really know if I'm going to go out and seek out a milkshake IPA. But if it's a Living Waters milkshake IPA, I'll probably pick it up just because, you know, Ryan McKay convinced me. Which we need to talk about that too because that was a really fun interview.
yes. Uh, we unintentionally went overtime.
Yeah,
And had a lightning round. So,
yeah,
hopefully if you're listening to this and not the interview, go listen to the interview after this because
yeah.
it's worth it.
It is.
Especially if you like hearing a little bit of insider brewing, just like how a beer is made, kind of details. We enjoyed it. And
Mm-hmm.
Ryan was more than happy just to talk about, some process and the way he does things. So, it was super, super appreciated
And we
that night.
did. I'm gonna if I jump back, I'm trying to think
Yeah.
the beers that we had. So the first one, of course, I've listened to it a couple of times already, kind of in like post production edit. But the first one we had was their, uh, gosh, I have to go back and look at it. We had a sour that was interesting for me for the simple fact that I had never had a sour that I actually enjoy. Oh, I'm sorry, it was a Goza. Which I don't know yet if it's the same thing as a sour, Mitch. So I can't really sit there and call it a sour, but it was a Goza, and
Yeah.
that was the first one of that kind that I had ever tried. It was called uh, Multinoma.
Multinoma. Yeah.
Multinoma, and that was really good. And then we followed it up with Victoria, and then we followed that up with Yosemite. Two really delicious IPAs from Living Water. Ryan was just super. He was very forward with information, and he's a good guy to talk to, and he was very open about the brewing process and what he does and what his beliefs and standards are. To hear him say something like, he's dumped this many batches of beer before because it didn't meet his standards.
Yeah. I looked up Goza real quick.
Yeah.
uh, Goza, while sour as well, also can have a tart lemon taste,
Mm.
which comes from the use of lactic bacteria, a definite saltiness, a bit of coriander, and essentially no trace of hops. So it's inoculating the wort with lactic acid bacteria before the primary fermentation. So that's
Mm.
how it's made sour, but it's not a sour punch in your face sour. It's going to be more of a little lift of lemon with a hint of sour, but it's going to be mostly tart.
And I can get on board with that.
Yeah, me too. I've had two of Living Waters now of Fitzgerald, which was the blood orange one that we didn't look out to find any cans for before we could record because
Oh.
somebody, drank them all before we could talk to them. So, and there was very little in stock left. So, I didn't want to rush things too bad. So we went with Multinoma and we still had a good time.
I think the Fitzgerald, I was looking it up. It's a Goza as well, but it's blood orange and Ugandan vanilla. And you mentioned on the podcast that you mentioned you liked that. You were a blood orange fan.
Definitely. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a choice between any orange and there's a blood orange all the way. But a heavy contestant would be assume a orange, pun intended. But I like both of those varieties.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, the Multnomah that we had was um, blueberry ash. It had blueberry puree and blueberry muffins put into it. So the minute I poured it and it was kind of pinkish purple, I knew I was going to be okay, because that, it's just looking at it indicates that it wasn't going to be that sour of a beer. It's kind of going to be more of a fruited type beer. And Bearded Iris does the same thing too, right? With their what's the mood ring.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, theirs is more of an IPA. It's a fruited IPA, but it's more on the fruity side than the hobby side.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of, the Living Waters is it was more of a sour tart version of what I expect of like Mood Ring, because it's less hoppy and it's more sour, but it had that fruit flavor to it.
Yeah, I like Mood Ring depending on my mood. It's I don't always enjoy it when I have it. That's why I never really buy it. But if it's on draft, I'll get like a small pour of it, a half pour or whatever. But it's a good way to wake the palate up.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'm just kind of, I'm still getting into those kind of beers myself. It's just, there's so much variety, man.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of, we're learning to, craft brewery is kind of blurring the lines between what is considered an IPA and what is considered a stout and what is considered a porter, right? Because now you have these beers that are crossing over into other territories. I personally am not a fan of coffee IPAs, but it's becoming a thing. You take something that would normally be reserved for like a porter or a stout and you mix it with an IPA in its place, and it's odd. I'm not a big fan of coffee IPAs, but we're getting a lot of that. You're getting two styles mixed together. You're getting cuvées, which were basically two different beers mixed together, and there's no more basic porter, basic stout, basic IPA. We're
Right.
beyond that, right? We're looking for the next thing to put us over into the next category, and we're kind of entering that category right now.
Man, it's like one of my favorite Batman animations growing up, Batman Beyond. It's a Beer Man Beyond, because we are beyond the basic.
We really are.
Yeah. It's insane to think that 5 years ago, or, even crazier, a decade, you couldn't find anything locally except for only a few. And we wished and wished for years that we got more, and then all of a sudden, I forget what year it was. I think it might have been 15, 16, 5 or 6 years ago. Something changed about distribution and allowed more distributors or out of state companies to distribute in Tennessee. I forget what law that was, but something released, and then we just saw a flood. It was awesome.
Well, you have what's considered the definition of high gravity beers, high alcohol beers. Anything above 6.1%, you couldn't buy in a grocery store. You had to go to the liquor store to get, because that was considered the top end ABV for a regular beer. So, you walk into a grocery store and you see Bud Light Platinum, which is sitting right at 6.1%. And that's by design, because that was like the minimum threshold where every single state could sell a beer like that for that high alcohol content in a grocery store. And then all of a sudden they change the rules and they say, okay, now we're going to move it up to X percent. And I can't remember what they changed it to, but it was something higher. And at that point, that's when you saw Dogfish Head come into play, because all of these good beers and the good IPAs and stouts that are like higher than 6%, but most good beers are still well below 10%.
Right.
And you can get those now in grocery stores and convenience stores and things like that. You don't have to go to a liquor store anymore. So that was the turning point, at least for Tennessee, in being able to have all of this good beer brought to you. And it's kind of like liquor by the drink. The minute a county decides they're going to start allowing, bars and restaurants or whatever, a bunch of restaurants will come into town and open up, because you're not going to open up a restaurant without a bar.
Right.
But the minute you're saying, okay, we'll allow you to do it, all these restaurants come into play. And even the restaurants that don't have bars start coming into town because there's increased traffic. I think the same thing happened with us in Tennessee, a few years ago when they said, okay, we're going to open up the floodgates and allow everybody to come in. And that's when we started getting really good beer.
Man, it was a world of difference.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the local tap houses, they started having an insane amount of tap takeovers, and I miss that right now. Not gonna lie. But I think last year St. Bernardus had a tap takeover locally here, and that was cool. And then years before that was a Dogfish Head. I think that's actually when I met DJ for the first time, because I had 120. It must have been off tap.
Yep.
Or on tap.
We're some hot dog joint in Nashville, right?
I can't remember exactly what they had. They did have hot dogs, but this was a little tap bar, or I'm losing my vocabulary. A tap room. There we go.
Not open anymore, I don't think.
No, it closed down. Something else before COVID hit them. I forget what exactly it was, but they didn't get enough business, or rent went up or something. It was unfortunate. It was a cool place. I hate when those small places that hit the right part of your soul, and then they go away. It sucks. But man,
I figure you're probably about halfway, maybe more, into that Oktoberfest by now. How's it tasting?
It's tasting good. I am about done.
Okay, now we're talking. I'm about done too. I was assuming that you. Hey, there you go. Just obviously we're not putting this video out, but we're holding up our glasses, and Mitch and I are about on the same pace. But normally I drink faster than Mitch, so I just assumed he was a little bit behind me. But he must have had one hell of a day, because he's probably ahead of me now.
And I'm enjoying the last bit of oaty and maltiness to this beer. The Edmonds really did good. I really want this in an imperial format. Right now, I want an imperial Oktoberfest. I'm dead set on finding one. I'm gonna have to do some research about what we got in Tennessee in terms of imperial Oktoberfest, and see if it even tickles the mind or podium that I've put Dragonhosen on.
That's actually a good idea. We need to go search that out, see if we can find an imperial Oktoberfest, because I'm sure they're out there, Mitch. We just haven't gone looking for it yet, because it's been hot. And some Oktoberfests are year round, but that's not when you want to drink an Oktoberfest. You want to drink an Oktoberfest now, when it's starting to get cool and chilly outside. So I think now is the time to start. We need to start looking for some Oktoberfest to see if we can find. And I bet you we'll see more this year, or maybe next year. This year might be a little different, for the simple fact that, everybody's kind of stuck inside right now for the pandemic. But I think once this all blows over and we're out and about next year, I think we're going to see a lot more Oktoberfest. Maybe Imperials will make their way up too.
Yeah, man. I'm at a loss for words, because the longest time with Oktoberfest, I attended like Volksfest and stuff like that. It was like a play at a beer festival, but for Germanic beers and the seasonal beer. And for Nashville, it was not a great event. Beer was fine. It's exactly what I expected. However, the event itself, usually you either have like some specialty brews or something from companies at times, or there's something specific that brings you in. But they just had people's like customized German cars and stuff there. And I don't know, man, it was super disappointing. And I guess that I'm trashing on this thing now, but I don't know if Volksfest is even still a thing now. But the year I went to that, it was really sparse. But Germanic beers, they have their own charm, and there's so many of them. we could go on a whole list, but I'm enjoying having this Edmonds Oast version of an Oktoberfest Marzen style lager here. So it's been a good experience from them. I haven't had anything else from Edmonds Oast. So
In Time is a good oated IPA from them. If you're ever interested in finding one, it's called In Time, I believe it is.
In Time.
I'll have to let me look it up real quick.
I'm gonna throw some water into my glass because I just took my last sip.
Yeah, I just took my last sip as well. I thought mine was good. Just kind of closing review on it. I didn't hate it. I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely needed it because of, it's been a busy day at work, and it's been a busy afternoon. I actually left work a little early to come home, kind of take care of some things around the house. So I kind of needed a good beer. I think that I'm going to continue on with the Southern Grist trend tonight. I'll be cooking dinner for the family here in a little bit. And I've got a virtual brownie, which was kind of a Southern Grist special release. I still got one of those in my fridge. I'll show it to you right now. It's a Humble Sea and Southern Grist collaboration. I've got this one right here that I'm going to finish up. It's very 8-bit, 16-bit on the label, and I'm really digging it. I had it before. It was super tasty. I'm just on a Southern Grist kick tonight. So it just kind of worked out that I had this intentional glitch IPA from DJ. So I figured I'd start with that. And, I'm having a heavier dinner here in a little bit, some meatloaf and some mashed potatoes. So I think this beer is going to go really well with it. So I'm just going to continue on with the Southern Grist tonight, Mitch.
That sounds like a plan. I was, if we were going to have one more, I'll save this for next time. I've got a Three Floyds Barbarian Haze IPA.
You found it.
I found it.
You got, well, I mean, I didn't know you got it because I believe we were, yeah, I'm just looking at you on the camera right now. You're confused as hell right now looking at me.
Yeah.
So we were at, remember when we were at Blossom Cellar Door out in Hendersonville last weekend? Or maybe it was a couple weekends ago. I can't remember which one it was. And there was a Three Floyds hazy IPA that was not on tap yet. We were waiting for one of the taps to kick, and that was next up. And we were making jokes about drinking all the beer so that we could get the next one on tap, which was going to be the one you're holding in your hand right now.
That's right.
Oh man, I'm super excited for you on that. That looks really good.
Well, for any locals listening, they still have them at Craft Brewed.
Okay.
So, yeah. Craft Brewed is a tap house with a mini tap. And rotating tap. And there's one questionable tap. The unknown tap. And upon first taste, I said no. So, on that note, it is this was our little miniature happy hour, if you will, because we middle of the week we got things to do, and unfortunately, I'm still here at the office.
Oh, sorry, Mitch.
But the issue that I've been working on while we talked is resolved. So
nice.
I'm giving it a little bit of space to clear up, and then letting the rest of the team know they can continue work. So. Yeah, man.
So are you saying you're stuck at the office for a little while longer?
Probably, yeah.
Well, shit, I'm gonna open my beer then.
Oh well, all right. Let's do it. Let's get into it. I didn't want to keep you, man.
Surprise beer. We didn't expect this to happen.
Well, I guess I'm having my Three Floyds now.
I don't know how the hell I'm supposed to hold up. Hold up. Bottle opener isn't. There it goes.
Nice. I heard that one.
Yeah. I'm pouring mine in. Oh, that's dark.
That's a good pour.
Oh, there we go. I've got my Living Waters glass. Shout out to Living Waters. Right there. Look at that, Mitch.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That poured real nice.
Mm-hmm. I've got my bottle opener here, and I just popped this open. I was not expecting to drink this until later on for dinner tonight, but it's good to know that you kind of got a little bit of some runway clear. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and start drinking this one now, because I think this is a good time to drink it.
Me too, man. I'm gonna I'll try holding this up. See if you get some visuals. I should have prepared my lighting better.
Oh, I see it. You're good. Oh,
I spilled it.
Yeah, you did.
Ugh.
There you go.
I got it in my microphone.
Mitch is pouring his beer right now. That's hazy, man.
I'm using my third eye.
There you go.
Not the South Pole, but
no, we don't care to know about that. That's a good pour, Mitch. You got the whole can in there. You got a nice foamy head on it. That thing seems to be staying. That looks good.
It's very pretty.
Hazy IPA from 3 Floyds.
Yeah, dude. You know,
what's it called?
It's called the Barbarian Haze.
From and Floyds Brewing Company.
I'm bad at puzzles, dude, and that's why I didn't put 2 and 2 together from like our weekend at Blossom.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I don't even have paper towels in this joint.
3 Floyds take on a hazy IPA, hop forward, flavorful, and unfiltered. A hopping protocol took it a bit further, using new age brewing alchemy coupled with old school heavy-handed approach. Fans of this style will recognize the complex and soft malt character that helps balance the generous hop additions for supreme drinkability.
Supreme drinkability.
What are you getting on that beer? Oh, you're still looking around.
Sorry, I'm doctoring up the back of my microphone because I gave it a little bath.
A little beer love. I would have poured. I poured mine. I'm just looking at the foamy head. It's just staying. It's ridiculous how much it just stays.
It's still there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And from what we learned from Ryan in our Living Waters interview last time, was that, you know, the protein content in it is just right when you know that it's staying with the beer.
True, you got to get your gains.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking. So Southern Grist, let's see. 10.1% ABV. Virtual collaboration, because this was one of those beers that was released during the pandemic. Of course, I remember me and DJ actually went up there a couple of days early to try to get this, thinking it was going to be released, and then find out it wasn't. It was the next day, so we had to order it online and reserve it. It's a virtual collaboration with Humble Sea Imperial Stout, brewed with walnuts, cacao nibs, cocoa powder, and vanilla.
Nice.
Just smelling it. I'm definitely getting the walnut. I'm getting the cacao nibs. There's some vanilla, but it's overpowering by the chocolate. I'm going to take a sip real quick.
Go for it. I'm watching you.
That was, so I've had this before.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I had it one other time because my wife was awesome enough to pick me up 2 bottles when she reserved it.
Nice.
So I had it before. This is interesting. I don't remember it being this heavy. I was actually outside on it was a warm night, but I was drinking this with a cigar. I think that was actually my check-in on Untapped, and having this beer. I don't remember it being this heavy. So it's real thick. It's real creamy. Loads of chocolate, loads of walnut, lots of vanilla. It's every flavor, but at the same time, I get each flavor different as I'm taking the sip. So it's not all mixed together. So this was it was a good collaboration. It does remind me of, you know, those cheap chocolate walnut little fudge brownies that you would buy that come in like the 2-packs. I'll show you the picture again, Mitch. If you can look right up on the
that's
the
exactly it, with the walnuts on top.
Yeah, this tastes like a liquefied version of those like chocolate nut brownies you get from like the Little Debbie's in like the 6-count boxes. This is really good.
That stuff would stick to your teeth.
Mm-hmm. And the roof of your mouth.
Yeah. Burn a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's tasty. Have you had an opportunity to clean your beer up? There you go.
Yeah, a little bit. I used notebook paper and what I had around. The office is, on a shortage of paper products here, so I had to use multiple methods. But on the nose, it's stanky.
Really? Mm.
It's definitely got some bitterness. It's got some hop, and let's see. I'm just gonna run through what the can tells me real quick. So this Barbarian Haze IPA has an ABV of 6.5%, an IBU of 42, and a SRM of 8. It is double dry hopped, and I don't know what a F-3 triangle is, but
Me either.
there's some code for you
I don't
smart
know what that
people out
means.
there.
Shit.
And this was August 21st. 21st this year is when it was brewed, it seems. So not too late.
No.
Three Floyds, Barbarian, Haze, India Pale Ale. Yeah. The can itself has the traditional, I don't know if it's traditional, I don't know if that's the right word, but they're can art. You know, you kind of expect this kind of rough sketch with a slight highlight of color splash in it that contrasts to their primary color. So anyway, that they put on the can. So it's a 2 to 3 color kind of thing. They don't really do something that's too out of the ballpark with their art. It's always it's got a format and catches your eye for sure.
It's their format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gumball always comes to mind, but
Gumball head, yeah.
I still haven't drank it. Yeah, for those who can't see, I just got the what the fuck face, but yeah,
it's like their staple hoppy wheat beer.
I know. I even went to Dark Lord Day and did not get a gumball head because that tent was on the opposite side of campus. It was right at the entrance, and the lines were always super long because the picnic tables are right next to it. So people, I guess, would just keep lining up for more. I don't know.
It's fine. I mean, I think, Gumball Head is something that you can get anywhere now where they distribute. It's one of their staples. But having, going to Three Floyds Day, or Dark Lord Day, excuse me, from Three Floyds is about finding the beers that you can't normally get anywhere else. So not having Gumball Head at Three Floyds during Dark Lord Day, I don't think is a bad thing. I think you had the right beers you were supposed to have. We've said it multiple times on the podcast, Mitch. We should have stayed longer. We just should have stayed longer.
Yeah.
But we had a bunch of good beers that we can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Anywhere else.
Man, I look forward to hopefully having that opportunity again next year. I hope this shit calms its ass down because we're encountering the flu season now. So it's going to be a double whammy. So we'll see how good we get through it. But man, I just drank some of this IPA.
What's your thoughts on it?
It's got a little bit to chew on, so I enjoy that. It's not the haziest IPA. It is their first hazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's not, I don't remember any of their other ones, but I just remember when we were sitting at that bar last weekend and she, the bartender was like, it's a Three Floyds Hazy IPA. I was taken back because I've never heard that before. They're more the dank, bitter West Coast or super malty IPAs. I don't expect a hazy IPA from Three Floyds.
So it's still got some malt to it, I feel like. I am coming off of a Oktoberfest, but I taste still quite a bit of maltiness along with a good bitter hop to it. And I'm curious what hops they used in this. They didn't list it on their can, so I haven't looked it up yet, but
no.
The haze, it's definitely not, Bearded Iris has its staple haziness that sticks to the back. This doesn't really hang out back there too much, but it does leave like a New England style taste overall. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
I'm just looking at, of course, you and I are pretty active on Untapped, and we've got friends that check in multiple beers and things like that. But I'm looking at my friends list of I have two friends that have had this beer, and I'm going to guess you're somewhere in the middle of these two. One gave it a 3.25, and the other one gave it a 3.75. I'm guessing
Oh.
you're maybe somewhere in the middle, or maybe you're a little bit on the lower end of that, if not in the middle. I
Yeah,
don't.
it's a weird field because I'm a fan of Three Floyds,
Mhm.
and I expect the epitome type of
Yeah.
beers from them. But I know they like to experiment thanks to the thoughtful lesson that was the greatest teachable moments beer that they released. So,
Oh, that was a terrible beer.
yeah. Uh,
Terrible beer. I'm sorry. No, fuck that beer. What was ginger? No, don't
yeah.
ever put ginger in an IP in a beer. Don't in any beer, period. Don't put that much ginger. It's terrible. I
Yeah.
mean, they named that beer appropriately. That is the worst beer that I've had. All four of us poured that beer down the drain. I'm sorry, Three Floyds, I
Yeah.
love you. Terrible decision. I don't think you should have done that. Just know that all four of us that went to Three Floyds that day had that beer, took 3 or 4 sips, tried to like it just because it was Three Floyds, and then we ended up pouring it down the drain. Just not a good
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah. It was a shocker. Um, but it
Oh,
was a great teachable moment that not all beer is great,
golly.
no matter who made it.
Yeah.
That thing, man, was. But I like ginger. I like ginger beer. I like ginger beer mixed with cocktail drinks.
Mm.
I like ginger. I eat ginger with sushi. You know what I mean? It's like I'll eat it all day kind of deal. But that beer, it was like they spinal tapped it to 11. We couldn't take it. It was. I don't think anybody could take it. I think that's why they got rid of it.
Oh,
But dude,
so bad.
it's like it's definitely one of those beers that if anyone there had tasted it, I bet you 99% of them said fuck that beer. But it,
Hmm.
it still got released because it was probably predetermined, and however it came out is how they distributed it. But
Yeah.
whatever. It's a rare beer. We got to taste it,
Yeah,
and we
it's
got to
true.
experience it, and we got to rate the shit out of it.
Mm.
And I don't know if I did,
And
but
not
I
very many
probably
people have
should.
had it either.
Right. I should probably go back and rate it as a 0.5 or something and be like, if you want your palate purged. I
That's the
don't
beer to
know.
get.
Yeah, it was you couldn't really use it as mouthwash even. It was
Mm-mm.
just so too much ginger. Just I don't know what happened with that one, man. That
How's
was
this one taste?
this one is it leaves a nice kind of mouthfeel after
Okay.
several sips of it. Almost not quite numbing kind of style feel, but I mean that could just be the alcohol talking.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely got a palated taste that's been deposited on the many parts of my mouth. So it's got a chewable feel now that I've worked my way through about half of it. So um, I'm enjoying it. It's one that I would definitely want on tap.
Mm.
The can's nice, but something like this, I feel like I'd have even a better experience on tap. Um, it's one of those. I just have a feeling that it'd be phenomenal off tap. So we definitely need to check out. Was it Blossom and Cellar
Yeah.
Door?
If they have it still on tap, yeah, that would be one to try out.
Definitely. If I heard right, it was kind of a smaller batch that they had
Yeah.
there. So
We may not have an opportunity to get to it before it's gone.
right. I wonder how long in a crowler does it take before it turns into just a canned beer?
Yeah, I'd be careful with that. Crawlers won't last too long, especially if it's coming straight from the tap and it's just being canned. I mean,
What
you
if it
generally have
was
a couple of days.
what if it was just you pick it up, drive it to destination? I
Oh yeah,
wonder if
that'd
it
be
would.
fine.
I would assume so, but I don't know if it'd still be tainted regardless or not.
No, it might be. It might be okay.
Yeah, I wonder. But I forget if they even do growler fills of it. So
They do crowlers of anything they have on tap. I know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
got growlers though that excuse me, I wouldn't mind them like
Mm,
using that if they got a heat gun and a plastic thing because I've had too many leak.
yeah.
So ah,
Well, you had two beers. You had the so you're drinking the Three Floyds Hazy IPA, Barbarian Haze IPA, and then you had the Oktoberfest from Edmonds Oast. So, what
wait,
would you rate them on Untappd? When you check these beers in, what are you going to rate them? I'm putting you on the spot.
shit, I should have taken pictures of my beers. So the Oktoberfest, I did take a picture of the Oktoberfest. So I
Nice.
did one good. So the Edmund one is a little bit of a probably I'm going to give it a little buffer just because I haven't had Oktoberfest style beers in a few years. So it'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be I liked it enough. I'll probably do a 375 until I've had more Oktoberfest beers. You
Nice.
know. And then for the Three Floyds one, that's more of a 32535 for me. It's not the best hazy I've had,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a tasty one. And
Yeah.
Three Floyds made it, so
Bonus points.
bonus points. And especially if this is the first one they've done, I look forward to seeing a hazier, more dankier one, like as expected from their powerful persona. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
It's like zombie dust is a little stronger to me than this one in
Mm.
my opinion, and it's just a pale ale.
Yeah.
It's not, you know it's just kind of odd to me that you could almost put any label on this beer and I wouldn't know it was a Three Floyds, or if I blind tasted it, I guess is what I should have said. But you know beer, it makes you
Yeah.
say things. So
Yeah.
uh yeah, I'll probably stick to maybe a 3.5, or once I get to the end of the glass, I'll probably have more distinction on what I want to rate it
Okay.
as. But it's hard to deviate any lower than a 3 on some beers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because in my mind, anything below a 3 is just bad.
Yeah.
So this might even be a 3.25 just because I'm undecided until, I don't know, they do
All right.
more, you know.
All right.
I don't know, man. I'm going to settle for 3.5 for now. We'll see
Okay.
what I rate it later.
All right.
I
That
will
works.
take a photo of it before it's too
Before
late.
you forget that you drank it all.
Yes.
I'll run down mine real quick. The intentional glitch from Southern Grist. Good, not my favorite. I think the lime peel and the tangerine kind of throws it off some. I was expecting a little bit more Southern style IPA, which is definitely a thing, kind of more juicy, more grapefruity. I was expecting that from Southern Grist. Not that that's going to, deduct from my rating, but I think the lime peel and the tangerine at the end is kind of throwing me off, and it doesn't give that IPA flavor that I was expecting. I think I didn't hate it. I definitely think it's a good beer. I'll probably give it a 3 out of 5. So I'll probably check that in with a 3 on Untapped. The virtual brownie, I mean, it's amazing. I love the virtual brownie from Southern Grist. I checked it in last time with a 4.25, and I'm sticking with that rating. It's a
Nice.
10% double pastry stout that's got loads of chocolate and walnut and vanilla and cacao nibs, and it's so good, and it's so smooth and thick and creamy and tasty. I'm going to stick with my 4.25 rating. So, uh, intentional glitch IPA, giving it a 3. Going to the opposite end of the spectrum in style and rating, virtual brownie from the same brewery, Southern Grist, I'm giving a 4.25.
It retained its glory.
It retained its glory.
A little dramatic pause there. So
Yes.
that's kind of rare, because palates change. And I don't remember exactly if you said anything about how long it's been since you've had the brownie beer, but that's
May, the end of May, almost around the beginning of June, end of May sometime.
like this year.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah, it
they
was.
really came out quick with it.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I mean it was right during the whole, pandemic when everybody was still in lockdown and they were just kind of starting to open things up only if you
That's
had a
right.
mask and all that stuff. So it was around that time,
That's
and
right.
yeah, it was good. But I'm 425 hands down. If they ever brew it again, most of the time they don't do
Hmm.
the same batch with a brewery if they're doing a collab. But I think this is awesome. So thumbs
And
up to Southern Grist on this one.
yeah, good job, Southern Grist. To keep it retaining that value.
Right.
The something came to mind while I was sitting here drinking, and it reminded me of past recordings where we mentioned setting up a blind tasting of between the both of us
Mm.
4 IPAs between the IPA double and triple spectrum.
Mm.
We still need to do that. Life kind of has a way of getting in the way
Yep.
of our own life. Damn it, life. Three different
Yeah.
ways. But we're still thinking about it. We haven't forgotten about it, and it's still in production. So, one of these weekends we'll get to it and probably knock that out. But
We'll do a blind taste test with, some of the breweries here in Nashville, and we'll just get. I don't know. I think Bearded Irish would be a good one. Southern Grist would be a good one. Living Waters, put them in the mix.
yeah,
I think having those three, because they have very distinct tastes, but at the same time, we know when we're drinking those beers. So it'll be very interesting if you say, "Hey, we're not going to let you know which one you're drinking.
yeah.
You just got to pick the brewery."
Well, that fourth one is the unknown. It could be a
Ooh.
tiebreaker, is what I'm saying. So,
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I definitely want to throw in a fourth one between both of us, and if we can guess it, awesome. But don't expect the other to get it, kind of deal.
Oh, so you're saying we're going to know the three breweries that we're drinking, but we have to pick which beer we're drinking is that brewery, and then there's going to be a random fourth one that we
Yes.
don't know. Ooh, that's going to be a good time. Yes.
Yeah. I definitely want to do it that way, and then we'll celebrate by drinking the rest of all the beers. So, and the winner gets a extra beer.
Winner gets drunk.
Yeah.
And the loser gets drunk too. I guess there's no losers in this game.
It's a win-win, lose-lose situation.
That was good.
Man. Well,
Mitch is a good happy hour, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for spending the time and checking in. And, as busy as we are, it's always great to be able to take a minute, have a drink, talk about it, and put it out into the ether.
Absolutely. And if you guys haven't had a chance to listen to the Living Waters interview podcast, it's the one that we released just prior to this one. Go back and take a listen to it. Ryan McKay is an awesome dude. Just being able to sit down with him for, what was supposed to be an hour or so turned into a couple hours. So it was a good time. Go listen. He's got a lot of knowledge. It'll be a good time. And I think you'll enjoy just learning about the process, but learning about a local Nashville brewery as well. And go give that a listen. If you are drinking beer, keep drinking beer. If you're not drinking beer, start drinking beer. And if you've never had craft beer before, just go out and find something. There's definitely a list out there for you to have, and there's going to be something that you like. You're probably not going to be disappointed.